Anybody heard the name Kevin Elko? Tell you a story. Dr. Kevin Elko is a sports psychologist. Dr. Kevin Elko is a guy that I got connected with through one of my parents. He has a website. I recommend you go to it. Dr. Kevin Elko has like the Monday morning cup of inspiration. He's got the Thursday night get after him speech. And he's one of these guys that goes around and he speaks to mega companies about the motivational aspect of life. He's a Christian, and he's not afraid to express that. One of the things that I heard him talk about dealt with the time that the Pittsburgh Steelers hired him to evaluate all the guys that were potential draft prospects. They went into a room, and he said, I went into the room, and it was Jaw. He was talking about the head football coach at the Steelers, Cower with his big jaw. He said, me and Jaw were sitting there, and he said, the first guy came into the room. We asked him to sit down. He sat across the table. And the thing that I wanted to do to try to evaluate this guy is I was going to try to make him feel at ease. So I just asked him, chit-chat. How's your day been? Good. Think you're going to get drafted? Hope so. Then he goes to what he calls the real stuff. He asked the player, have you ever faced adversity? Have you ever faced adversity? He said, yes, sir, I have. He said, well, can you explain it? Can you tell me your story? He said, yes, sir. He said, at the beginning of camp, I separated my shoulder completely. He said, they put it back in. And he said, I've been in pain every day since I separated my shoulder. And he said, it's hurt when I practice, and it hurts when I play. And he says, I haven't missed a game. I haven't missed a practice. And Elko said, He said, how did you do this? How did you overcome this? He said, real simple. I said to myself, if my mother can have cancer and go to work 6 days a week, I can deal with this shoulder. I said to myself, here's the thing that I want you to understand, all of you. Those 3 words, it's an opportunity for what I call clarity. I said to myself, and you're a young player, and you're with a crowd, and you're at a party, I said to myself, if I drink this beer and drive this car, I'm probably going to get in trouble and lose my scholarship. I said to myself, I can't smoke this joint. If I do and I get caught, everything is done. I said to myself, how many guys do you know that in less than the time that it takes me to say, I said to myself, they make that one wrong decision and it's a backbreaker. Not for a day, but for a lifetime. Really important. Really important. I was one of those guys that was out. I was one of those guys, by the grace of God, got put back in because I had a coach that believed in me. I was not one of those guys that ever thought, I said to myself, I was all about bam, bam, boom, headlong into whatever. And by the grace of God, I get through the trials and the tribulations, and I stand before you today. I don't know why. I don't know why God's allowed me to live 66 years, because I've been a big dummy for a lot of those years. And the thing that I want all of you guys to understand, this game, pretty cool. Pretty cool. This game's going to teach you a lot about life. I've heard the stories, this guy's character, this guy's character, this guy, he'll get up, this guy, he'll fight, this guy. All of those characteristics. You know why you need all those characteristics? Because you're going to have to battle life. You're going to have to battle life. It may be your child is sick. It may be someone passes away. It may be you lose your job. And then what? This game's touched you. It's not only touched you from a physical aspect, but a mental aspect. The toughness that you learn, the ability to adapt, improvise, overcome, and fight again. You've gone to what I call graduate school of life. You can take it to the next level. That's that college ball. And then, I don't know, that pro stuff, I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is every guy that comes into our program, he gets a great education. Not only the language and the religion and the philosophy and the mathematics and all that, but we teach lessons just like Coach Nichols does and all these coaches here on that field. And that field right there will teach you things that when life gets hard, when you don't think you can go another step, you'll get up and you will go. How hard was it for you, Coach, when you first started out? Huh?
I'd ask you every summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what. You guys, I know, as players, you hate losing. But I'm going to tell you this. You haven't seen the amount of just, gosh, I can't take it anymore. But what happens is, you wake up on that Sunday morning, your eyes open up, and by the grace of God, you say, hey, I got another shot. One thing about a great coach, you know what you got to do? You got to leave it behind you. You got to have the ability to look ahead. You got to have the ability to say, hey, I know it is bad now, but somehow, some way, I'm going to change the day. And I'm going to change the day in my favor. It will not happen by words. It will never, never, never happen by words. The only way this is going to happen is by the actions that you take. How long are you willing to hold on? Huh? When times get tough, how long are you willing to hold on? The toughest 2 times that I've had in my life, it wasn't when a guy shot me with a pellet rifle when I was on the garbage truck. It wasn't when I lost my job at the University of Richmond and I was a young coach. The head coach got fired and I went with him. It was when my mother, the first time I'm at Wofford in 1988, I'm going for the first away game and I step foot on that bus and I hear, Coach! And I come off the bus. It's my secretary and she said there's an emergency at the house. And I'm thinking, okay, Katie, Courtney, and Travis, who ran into the coffee table and cut their eye? That's what I'm thinking. I called my wife. She said, your brother Joey called, your mom's in critical condition. Ran back to the bus, told my OC, take the team to Johnson City, Tennessee, work them out. I will be there somehow, some way before the game. Drove as fast as I could, legally, to Bethesda Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. But I got there and I was too late. I got 5 brothers. They're in the waiting room. As soon as I could see them, I could tell by their face she had gone. I said, where is she? They told me the room, 5th floor, 525. I go there. She had had an aneurysm, and evidently they had checked her like 2 in the morning, and by the time they got back to her, checking her again, she was in critical condition. She didn't make it. Big battle going on. Big battle. God! Started with me and God. Then I said, I got a job to do. I got a job to do. I can't let these kids down. I knelt down, prayed for her, I kissed her, and then I headed to Johnson City. One of those games, kids fought hard. At that point in time, they got us. I was hurting. I was hurting about the win. I was hurting about my mom. But here was the crazy thing. I'd coached at East Tennessee State the year before. I was the head coach there. And I left that job to go to Wofford. All the kids on the East Tennessee State team and all the kids on Wofford, they all came to the middle of the field for me. No price tag. Nothing in the world can top that one. Life is hard. The game is hard. But the cool thing is this. If you're willing to get up and face the next day, you never know. You might get that win. You Blue Hose, I played many a game against you guys. Started out down there at Newberry. Yeah, when they were the Indians. We used to come over there, man, and scrap. It was that Turkey Day deal. And many a day, that turkey didn't taste too good. Some days it tasted real good. To all you guys here, listen to me. You may say, this guy here, he shot his mouth off too much. I'm just going to give you this. Do the best you got. Do the best you can do every day. Whatever you put your hand to, do the best you can do. And you don't need to do it for yourself. You don't need to do it for your coach. And you don't need to do it for your parents. You need to do it for God Almighty. Take care.
At this time, we'll go ahead and do our